Hey guys, good morning, Coach Danielle. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today's special message is just for those women who are ready to take back their life. What do I mean by that? I mean that at some point, if you're anything like me, you start to think that I'm living this life for everybody but myself. If you've thought about that before, go ahead and say me in the chat. I'm living my life to work. I'm living my life to serve my kids. I'm living up my life to make my man happy. I'm living my life to help my friends. I'm living my life for all of these people other than myself. And I could not possibly be the only woman who thinks that. And so today I was thinking, at some point, we as women have to stand up and start to take our lives back for us. And it's so super important that we understand that we have to make it a priority to live our best life. We have to make it a priority to make time for the things um, that are important to us. So many times we make time for everybody else's priority. I know me personally, I'm just speaking for myself. We make time for everybody else's priority, and some kind of way, our priorities get put on the back burner. Some kind of way, what everybody else needs from us, what everybody else thinks we should be doing, everybody else's task, everybody else's problems get pushed onto our plate. And it's so unfortunate because, most of us want way more than what we have out of life. And in order to get that, we got to get to that point where we're just adamant about taking back our life. We got to get to that point where we learn how to create the boundaries that are necessary for us to say no. The mass majority of women don't have what they need because they're so busy giving it to everybody else. You don't have the time you need because you're giving it away. You don't have the money you need because you're giving it away. You don't have the peace of mind you need because you're giving it away too. And like I said, I'm just as guilty as the next person. But at some point, we got to realize that number one, this life is not going to last forever. If you want to start a business, now is the time. If you want to quit your job, now is the time. If you want to do something different with your life, now is the time. We just don't have forever. And sometimes we treat our time as if, we got forever to make this happen, and we do not. So at what point do we start to make what we love to do a priority? At what start making what is important to us a priority? And it's unfortunate that most of us just don't have a plan to make that happen. And because we don't have a plan to make that happen, whatever comes along sounds like a priority. But where is your priority, sis? Where's what's important to you? Where's your financial security? Just because you have extra doesn't mean you got to give it away. Because I can promise you that when you need it, it's not going to be around for you. So this is not even just about your job or just about your money. This is about taking back your life, taking back your time, carving out some happiness for yourself. And I don't mean just on the weekends. I don't mean just every now and then. I mean, are you building that type of life that is satisfying to you? And that's the journey that I want to take women on. And yes, it's going to include making more money. Yes, that's part of it. You got to stop ignoring the money. You got to stop ignoring your gifts. You got to stop ignoring your talents. You got to make those things important to you like they are to everybody else. Because if you're not careful, you will look up and you would have lived this life for everybody other than yourself. You will look up and kids will be happy and your man will be happy. And oh yeah, they happy with you at the job. But at what point do you say, okay, I got to do this for me? And I don't know if this is resonating with you. If this is resonating with you, definitely say me in the chat. But I'm just, that's where I am right now. You know, I'm 53. I feel like I've done everything for everybody else. And I feel like I've done some things for myself, but far and large, the enjoyment of life comes at my expense. Everybody else around me is taken care of. And I can't say that I can. And that's just my truth. And that's where I'm even moving to in business. I'm moving to serve those women who, you've done it all for everybody else. It's more than building a business. It's about taking back your financial security. It's more than just building a business. It's about doing what you love to do and even understanding that you can do what you love to do and get paid. I don't care what it is you love to eat, you can eat and get paid. You love to travel, get paid. Now, just because you doesn't know how, that doesn't mean it's not possible. But you can do what you love and still live a life you love. As long as you're committed to doing what is necessary to take your life back. And the saddest part about all of this, the saddest part is that the longer we go, the more impossible we feel it is to get our life back. If this resonates with you, definitely say me in the chat. The longer we go, the older we get, the more we've given everything. Good morning, Judy. To everybody else. The harder that habit of taking care of ourselves, the harder that habit of putting ourselves first, the harder that habit of just drawing some boundaries, the harder it becomes. So, it's time for us to start building a habit of self. It's time for us to start building a habit of taking back our life, putting ourselves first, seeking out our own happiness. It's just that time. And yes, it starts with being able to be free from a job. It starts with being financially secure. It starts with all those things. But it also ends with you saying, this is what I want out of my life. And then going out and getting it. And not being so afraid of it that you implode. Understanding that what's on the other side is important enough for you to stand in the gap. You got to stand in the gap for your next level. If you will fight for a promotion on your job, then you should be willing to fight for your freedom. You should be willing to fight for your happiness. You should be willing to fight for your next level. So at some point, we can't fight everything. We got to start fighting for us. And that's where I am in my life. And we're going to be talking about that tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you register at bit.ly/escapeplan2023. Every week, we're going to be talking about what is it that you need to do to not just escape your job. That's not enough. Good morning, Jenna. Because at some point, escaping your job, building a life that you love, all of those things have to be a major priority for you. Because if they're not a major priority for you, then who is it going to be a priority for? If not you, then who? And, I don't know who you're waiting on. I don't know what you're waiting on. But that whole I'm going to wait and see what happens is part of the problem. We don't have forever to sit and wait. We don't have forever to sit and overthink it. We don't have forever to make a decision. At some point, you got to make a decision today. Is this, and I'm going to tell you how you make a decision. Look around you and ask yourself, is this how I want to live my life? Go ahead. Look around you. Is this how I want to spend my days? Is this where I want to live? Is this the car I want to drive? Look around you and ask, is this the relationship I want to be in? Is this the life I dreamed I would have? And a lot of times we don't do that because the hardest thing in the world is to admit that you're living a life that you do not want to live. It is so hard. But the truth of the matter is, when you look online and you see all of these other people, if they can have the life, you can have the life. They've just done the work. And the first piece of that work is admitting that you want to do something different. Admitting that this life right here, that it's not what it's cracked up to be. And there's just so many people pretending that they live a great life, pretending that, oh, everything's fine on social media. And so you're looking at those people pretending and you're comparing yourself to those people who are pretending. And the truth of the matter is, they're not even living a real life. There's nothing real about the life that they're living. So you're comparing your real life to somebody else's fake life. And you have to stop doing that. It's just not serving you. So tonight at 7, we're going to be having a discussion on some ways that you can jumpstart taking back your life. Go to bit.ly/escape plan 2023. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow. But the truth of the matter is, whatever life you're living, you built it. So if there's something else, that another life that you want to be living, you're going to have to go and build that too. And if you don't know how, let's have the conversation. If you don't know how, let's have the discussion. But stop walking around as if everything is okay. Because if you're not living the life you want to live, everything is not okay. And don't wait until the 11th hour. Don't wait till the job lays you off. Don't wait until you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's what we do as women. We make so many excuses. We make so many excuses as to, I'm going to do this after my kids get older. I'm going to just wait one more year. Then I'm going to start working on it. I talked to somebody who had been working on building her business for going on 20 years and hadn't gotten there yet. So if you haven't gotten there yet, what will make you think you're going to get there automatically? If you really want to get there, don't you think it's time, number one, to get some help, and number two, to just think totally different about your situation? I'm not saying it's a bad situation. I'm saying that it's not the one you want. And we have to realize that we can have, somebody type this in the chat, I can have anything. And that's how you have to start your days, and that's how you have to close out your nights. Because once you start realizing you can have anything, you will stop accepting everything. Once you realize you can have the relationship, once you realize you can have a meaningful employment, doesn't have to be a job. Gainful employment doesn't have to be clocking in for somebody. Once you realize you can live in that house, you can drive that car. But you're going to have to make some concessions. And those concessions may be you can't take care of everybody else and take care of you. When the Bible says you're blessed to be a blessing, that means you're blessed to give out of your overflow. And I'm going to say this, and it might prickle some feathers. But if you'll sit down and start doing for yourself, you'll find you'll have the resources that you need. If you at any point stop trying so hard to save everybody else, you will have everything you need to start to build your life. And that's probably an ouch moment for somebody. I mean, I want you to start adding up the time, the energy, the money that you've given to other people. And then ask yourself, what could I have built myself? And it's not about being selfish. It's not about being self-serving. It's about living a life you love and taking back your life. And that's all it's about. And it's not saying don't be helpful, but you got to count the cost of that help. And here's another thing that may hurt you to hear. How much of what you're doing for other people is deflection? How much of what you're doing for other people is doing it so that you don't have to focus on you, so that you don't have to build your life, so you don't have to go out there and do what's scary? Good morning, Selena. How much of that? Because when we dig deep and think about everything that God has given us, or have we really done everything we need to do to polish that gift, to present that gift to the world, to not make excuses, and to use that gift to live the life that we want? Have we done as much as we can do? And even when I look at myself, I'm going to have to answer no. But I'm going to also have to realize that I have to change that. And nobody's coming to change it but me. Nobody is going to save me but me. There's nobody that can force you to live the life you desire. And in fact, most of us don't even vocalize what is it that we really want out of life. So if you're listening, join us tonight, bit.ly/escape plan 2023. It's about, really just taking everything you have in you and using what you have to escape and build a life that you want. And there is a transition period. You don't just quit. And I'm going to tell you that with all the love in my heart. You don't just quit. You have to have a plan. You have to transition. If you think about it, took you years to get where you are now. So if it took you so long to get where you are now, don't you think it's going to take you a little bit of time to start building the habits of being able to take your life back? You're conditioned to help other people. You're conditioned not to charge for your gifts and talents. You're conditioned to make everybody else the priority. All of those things are habits. And the only way to start to do something different is you have to start adopting new habits. First, you got to know what those new habits are. And then you got to understand why now is the time for you to make those new habits a priority. So tonight at 7 p.m., we're going to be talking about that. bit.ly/escape plan 2023. Make sure you register. Make sure you remember. Make sure you show up on time. I mean, this is your life. Good, bad, or indifferent. And it's time for you to stand up and get ready to do something differently. If that's what you want, now is the time. Not later, not when things are better. you're going to find that when it's time for you to move, it's always going to look like it's impossible. But it's up to you to want it so bad that you figure it out. If this is what you really want, it's time for you to figure it out. All right. Love you guys. See you guys later tonight.